Are you actively shopping for key comics? Have you been searching long and hard for your comic book grail, just waiting to walk into a comic store and find it waiting for you? If that sounds like you or someone you know, you're going to want to watch this video. It could save you a lot of money. Today's video is brought to you by 9panel. More on them later. 2021 has been an insane year for the comic market. More people are coming into the hobby every day, whether they're new comic collectors or people who are diversifying their holdings and looking for comics to invest in. We've all been watching as prices have doubled, tripled, and there are even certain books that have climbed even higher just in the first half of this year alone. Additionally, there is a constant struggle to keep up with the latest news that impacts the collectible comics market. Unfortunately, the current environment is leading to some less than desirable places, and one of those dark corners of the hobby is what I want to talk about today: price gouging in the comic market. In this video, I'm going to tell you what to look out for, and I'm also going to give you 3 resources that will help you ensure you're not overpaying when you manage to track down your next key comic book. Here's what I'm seeing right now. Local comic shops, social media sellers, and even private individuals posting key comics for sale. You know, it's not a big deal, right? It happens all the time. But then when I look closer, I look at the price tag, and I can't believe my eyes. Raw books are being priced at the value of graded books. Graded books are being priced 25 to 50% above the record high sales price for that book in grade. Books that are recently purchased off of eBay or other easily trackable outlets are being posted for sale with massive markups over fair market value, because apparently having a hot book in your inventory is more important than providing a fair value to your customers. And here's the part that kills me. Not long after I see these books go up, I see pictures of customers buying these incredibly overpriced books with smiles on their faces because they're completely unaware of how much they just overpaid for this book. Sometimes it's hundreds of dollars, sometimes it's thousands of dollars that they've overpaid. And I'm going to acknowledge that I'm not aware of anyone being forced into these deals. All of the examples I've seen appear to be people who have willingly entered into these transactions, and it's 100% their right to do so. But on the flip side, I don't want to see members of the community being taken advantage of because they didn't have the information they needed to make an educated decision when it came to buying a book. So why does this happen? I think the simplest explanation is FOMO. Key books are becoming even more difficult to find, and in the event that you find one, affordability is the next hurdle you have to clear. However, the lack of opportunity is what I see as being the real culprit here, as more collectors and investors are active in the market right now, and with no shortage of outlets for selling comic books on a direct and individual basis, local comic shops are being raided. You know, flippers and speculators are buying local and reselling on the World Wide Web. If you're under 25, that's what we used to call the internet. If you've been in the comic book game for 5 or 10 years, think back to what the back issue bins of your LCS used to look like. Now think about what they look like today. If your LCSs are like mine, the Silver Age is gone. The Bronze Age is gone. Copper Age books are pretty sparse, let's be honest, and even the 90s Modern Age books are pretty badly picked over. Collectors and investors are hoarding copies of books, buying up spec-worthy books whenever they find them. As much as I love talking about comics to invest in or speculate on, I also acknowledge that myself and people like me who talk about such things on YouTube or in social media may be part of the problem here. What it boils down to is that collectors are afraid that if they don't buy the copy of this book that they found in the moment, they may not be able to find another copy, or if they are able to find another copy, that the value of the book will have exceeded their budget by that time. And this concern leads to making rushed decisions that can cost you some serious money. If we're just meeting, my name is Drew Stewart. I'm the owner of Como Comic Books, a Columbia, Missouri-based comic book vendor On our YouTube channel, we bring you the best tips and tricks to help you take your comic collection to the next level. If you're looking for content focusing on comic book collecting or investing in comics, be sure to hit that subscribe button. When I walk into an LCS or up to a vendor booth and see a major key for sale, the first thing I ask myself is, why is this book still here? My default assumption is that there's a reason this book hasn't sold before I've found it. Is the book restored? Does it have a major flaw maybe that's keeping potential buyers at bay? Is it overgraded or overpriced? I know it sounds crazy, but this is how my process works. If I'm interested in the book, the next thing I do, I begin working through these questions as I make an assessment of the book. First thing, I ask to see it. You gotta close the gap. Then if I'm interested further, I'll ask the dealer or the shop owner if I can take it out of the bag to take a look at it. This, of course, is assuming it's a raw book. After I've finished looking over the book, the next thing I do is I take to my phone and I begin searching for recent sales comps to find a rough value based on the current market. If I'm looking at a graded book, it's even easier as there are several tools available to us in the hobby to review historical sales data for slabbed books. And this is the most important part of the process, establishing what the market value of the book is and then comparing it to how the book is priced. It's easy to let the adrenaline take over and make impulsive purchases. Hell, it may even be fun from time to time. But by being aware of your excitement and taking a step back to approach the sale logically with data and understanding of the current fair market value, that is how you will ensure you're not only picking up a great book, but getting it at a fair price. One quick note, the process above requires that you possess an incredibly important skill as a member of the comic community. You need to know how to grade comics. Grading comics is equal parts skill and art, but is an essential ability for a serious collector. Don't worry though, you don't have to be dead on accurate. Professional graders at CGC and CBCS don't assign grades individually. 3 or more graders review each book, and when there's more than one grade turned in by the graders, the scores are averaged out to determine the final grade. What is important is that you can get close. Grading is subjective, and being able to articulate why you feel a book is a certain grade in a conversation with the seller will serve you well while you're negotiating a better price. If you'd like to learn more about grading comics, then check out the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics. I'll drop a link to it in the description down below. I recently met some collectors who spent the last 4 years working with local comic shops, convention dealers, and online sellers to develop a better way to buy and sell comics online. The website is called 9panel.com, and I'm a big fan. Comics on 9panel are listed by great comic book sellers and LCSs from all over the US. It's easy to search for key comic books or browse by comic-specific categories. On 9panel, you can buy from as many shops as you want in a single checkout, and all transactions are secure and protected from fraud. If you want to sell books, you can set your own policies and create a custom branded shop page with filter and search features for your buyers. And 9panel's smart listing process helps you create better listings in less time. 9panel is a marketplace built just for comics by collectors who love comics. Check out 9panel.com and buy a book today. Now that we've identified the problem, let's talk about some of the solutions. The first resource I recommend is already something you probably have on your phone, and that's the eBay app. eBay sold listings are a great real-time resource for determining the value of a book. Just search for the book, then hit Filter. Next, hit Show More, and then click the slider next to Sold Items. This will bring up all of the recently sold listings for your search term. You can then sort by price or when the item was sold. However, as handy as the eBay app is, it takes a lot of scrolling and assessing of the sold items to really determine which sold listings are true comparable sales for your item. If you're looking at graded books, it's a bit easier than raw books, but there's some even better resources for graded books that we'll get into in just a second. The best thing about the eBay app is that it's 100% free and likely a resource you're already familiar with. Next up is a couple of resources that will help you specifically with graded comics. My personal favorite resource for graded books is GPA Analysis. GPA is a paid service that puts a vast amount of sales data at your fingertips. GPA exclusively tracks the sales of CGC graded books and aggregates sales data from a vast array of platforms. Drilling down from title to issue to the individual grade, GPA also allows you to filter by universal, conserved or restored, qualified or signed books. GPA will show you sales data from previous years, along with year-to-date and current sales data, including 12-month and 90-day average values, and the ever more important last sale value. With the speed things are moving at today, last sale is an incredibly important number to watch. Similar to GPA is a resource I'm less familiar with personally, but it comes well recommended from a couple of fellow collectors that I trust. And that resource is GoCollect. GoCollect also provides sales and value data for books down to the specific grade level. The main advantage I see with GoCollect is that it also collects data for CBCS graded comics, in addition to CGC books, which provides a fuller sampling of the sales in the market. Interestingly enough, it's that the two services, GPA and GoCollect, tend to work best in tandem, as each service tends to capture sales that the other misses. No matter how good either of them is, neither is perfect when it comes to capturing 100% of the available sales data, so pairing them provides you with the fullest picture of the comic market possible. If you're getting value out of the video, do me a favor and hit the like button. Subscribing to the channel along with liking and commenting on our videos is a great and 100% free way for you to help support the channel. The final resource I'll tell you about, it's a little bit old school. My third resource is the Heritage Auctions website. When you register with Heritage, you gain access to their sales archives. As one of the premier auction houses for collectibles in the world, Heritage's sold listing search is also a great tool to reference. And here's where the old school part comes in. Not only can you search for past sales from Heritage, but when you click into the listings, Heritage provides the Overstreet comic book price guide values for the book you're viewing. Now hold on, before the comments come in about how out of date Overstreet's prices are from the moment they're published, I want to go on record as saying don't rely only on Overstreet values, but use the value breakdown by grade to give yourself a rough idea of where the value ranges by grade lie. This can be a huge help when you're trying to get a rough idea of the value for a non-key and raw back issue. And once again, registering with Heritage is free, and the more you can save on resources you use to help support your hobby, the more you can spend on the hobby. So you may be asking, Drew, how does any of this help me improve my collection? It's as simple as this. If you slow down, do your research, and verify that the book you're considering is fairly priced, then every dollar you save by walking away from bad deals or negotiating a price that's more aligned with the market is a dollar you can use to purchase additional comic books. This can help your convention budget go further, help you stay in the game and hit all of the comic shops you wanted to stop at on your next road trip, or let you put a little extra back in your war chest for the next big key on your list. Remember this, no deal is better than a bad deal. Happy hunting out there, stay safe, check those prices before you buy, and collect responsibly. I'll see you in the next one.